Hello friends, welcome to this week's nursery tour. We are going to go through the nursery and just kind of hit some highlights. We're going to start down here at the shrub lot and hit some plants that we really haven't talked about, or to give you updates on some things. I am going to preface this video with, we got over 6 inches of rain yesterday. So if things down here look really good, but once we get up to like some of the petunias that are outside, if they look a little heavy with water, that is because, yeah, 6 inches of rain or more yesterday. Crazy. But we are grateful for the rain. Now we're going to start down here. I wanted to share with you the Brandywine Viburnum. And I have had this Brandywine Viburnum in my garden, gosh, for quite a few years. We brought them in and I went ahead and planted them in the garden. I love them. It is going to be a deciduous shrub, but if you are looking for a shrub that gets some nice height to it, roughly in that, let's see what the tag actually says. Yeah, I was gonna say 5 to 6 tall and wide, with really beautiful, kind of glossy, nice size leaves on them. And you can see that they are already have some flower buds on it. This is going to be a sun to part shade plant, hardy in zones 5 to 9. It is a native plant, and these flowers these little buds will produce beautiful flowers that then turn into those pink and blue berries that you see on the tag. It is a spectacular plant in the fall, with that beautiful fall color on it, medium size as far as like resistance to deer, but just a great, beautiful plant, especially as a specimen plant or even as a hedge. So Brandywine Viburnum, if you have something like I have them more towards like on the wood line, so they give me height and color throughout the growing season. And then in the wintertime, when they're just the sticks, it blends into the woods, so I really don't notice them. But Brandywine Viburnums, beautiful. It would be great if you're trying to attract birds to your garden because of those beautiful berries. Now, you saw me plant some of these barberries. This is the Sunjoy orange pillar. And you saw me plant some just this week in the berm. Beautiful foliage on it, and y'all, yes, they keep this color all season long. It is a 3-season plant. It will be deciduous. Barberries are deciduous, but you're going to keep this gorgeous color for spring, summer, and fall until you get a hard freeze and it kills that foliage. Definitely a full sun plant. If you don't have the full sun, then you're not going to get that really rich, vibrant color. Hardy in zones 4 to 8. It will be 3 to 4 feet tall and about 1.5 to 3 feet wide. Definitely taller than it is wide, hence why it's called orange pillar. Very high deer resistance to it because it does have thorns on it. I tell people, yes, barberries do have thorns. This is not going to be a plant that you're going to go through and like rub your hands all over. I don't do that to my roses. Don't do it to your barberries. But I mean, you can like bring your hand like this and you're not going to get thorns in it, right? So beautiful color. If you're looking for a pop and explosion, this is definitely one to do that. Gardenias. If you've been around us for any length of time, you probably know that gardenias are my favorite flower. Here we have Steady As She Goes. This is the gardenia, first gardenia from Proven Winners. It is the improved version of Chuck Hayes, which is what we have growing in our backyard. We personally have found that Chuck Hayes, before we did Steady As She Goes, was the best gardenia for us because it has more cold tolerance. But look, y'all. Do you see all this right here? You know what those are? Those are flower buds. These plants are about to explode in blooms. And I'm a bit of a gardenia snob. If I'm gonna have a gardenia, I want it to be a big double bloom that smells divine. Well, they do that. Big, huge blooms on it. It's gonna get some size to it. I think it's like 3 to 4 tall, but like 5 to 7 wide. So if you're looking to fill in an area, a nice big sunny bank, these would be wonderful to do. Gardenias are for the south though. So they're gonna be more, I think it's from like zones 7 to 10, something like that. But gardenias, if you're a southerner, you know that's one of those iconic plants here in the south. Hibiscus, the summerific hibiscus. These are amazing plants. It is a perennial because it will die completely back in the wintertime. All of this growth that you see is brand new this season. These are plants that we potted up last year. So these are last year's plants, which means you can tell they have a really beautiful, vigorous root system, gorgeous foliage on top. I mean, look at this. This is just a spectacular display of a plant. Now, they do the big, huge dinner plate size blooms on them, and they come in a whole array of colors. So depending on, do you want the pinks, the whites, the reds, right? So those are kind of in those areas that they come in, but just magnificent bloomers. If you have a wet area especially, these do really well in damp areas. So it can be a bog plant. The more water you give it, the bigger it grows and the more flowers you're going to get for a longer period of time. They do like the full to part sun, so give it as much sun as you can possibly give it. We are growing, though, a whole slew of other summerifics for this year. So we have all the new, like the lilac crush, people are asking about that. We have those, we have more holy grails. But just know that we are growing them, and so we're kind of waiting on those roots to grow in. But if you're looking for them, we have got them. Gorgeous plants. I just cannot talk about it enough. Also, when I did the berm, I planted another barberry. This is Sunjoy Neo. So if you like the color of the orange pillar, but maybe it's just the wrong shape or size, the Neo might be a great option for you because it is going to be only 2.5 feet tall and wide. So it's going to have a very different habit to it than orange pillar. Really nice, rich orangey red color to it. Again, full sun, hardy in zones 6 to 8, 3 seasons of color, high deer resistance. Is beautiful when you compare it with something that's contrasting, right? So even like the Loropetalums that are right beside of it, something nice and bright green like the cypress that are, you know, behind it, right? So when you can have those colors that contrast off of each other, then that's where you're going to get the most pow in your garden, shall we say. Speaking of Loropetalums, this is the variegated Jazz Hands Variegated from Proven Winners. Let's see if I can find a tag for you. Here we go. Jazz Hands Variegated. Loropetalums, again, are going to be more of a southern garden plant. And the Jazz Hands Variegated is, let's see if I can flip it over. Now the tag's wet, but it does have like 3 colors on it. It will have that beautiful burgundy, it will have white, it will have some green. Right now they are showing more burgundy, but when you kind of look down in there, you can see that it has those kind of those green speckles on it. As it grows, this will, the variegation on it will become more enhanced. Now the Jazz Hands Variegated is going to be hardy in zones 7B to 9, full sun to part shade, and it is an evergreen. So you've got beautiful foliage all year round. This is going to be 4 to 6 tall, 4 wide. This is what we call as a great foundation planting because it is an evergreen. If you have a high spot, like maybe a lot of foundation showing on your house in an area, put these in there and it fills it up and it just is gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Let's see where we want to go next year. There's so much to tell you. Oh, let me do this while I see them. I think it was last week's nursery tour. Yeah, last week's nursery tour, we were talking about how we had just gotten a shipment of new plants in, and one of those was the sun Hosta. And I talked to you folks and I was like, I don't know, this says full sun, I just can't imagine it. Well, a bunch of you who have a lot of experience growing the sun hostas were like, no, Jenny, it really can take full sun. These are people in Florida and Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, all in the deep south, lots and lots of heat. Definitely can handle it, and they were sending me pictures. So if you have a sunny area and you're like me in the heat and the humidity of the south and you're like, there's no way a hosta can take full sun, according to our people, they absolutely can. So I'm going to be sticking one in that kind of conditions, and we're going to see how it does. I cannot wait to add it to the garden. Roses. Now, this is what I'm talking about with 6 inches of rain. The roses look a little bedraggled right now. But just know that it is rose season and they are blooming, whether you need something that's nice and short, like the Ringo. This is the double pink, a beautiful, more of a lower grower on it. But you can see even after the rain, we've got beautiful flowers on there. Yes, I mean, they look like they just got 6 inches of rain on them. But these are going to be 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, full sun. Hardy in zones 4 to 8, and these are going to be just loads of blooms, continuous blooms on them, more and more. You can shape them just like any other kind of rose, you know, in late winter if you need to kind of give them a little shape up. Then we've got the climbing ones. These are, this looks like the, what do you call it? Lilac, thank you, Rise Up Lilac. My brain just went out on me. Rise Up Lilac, because we have them, I don't know if Jerry can kind of show you if it'll pick up on the camera, because right behind us is the rose garden, and in the center we've got 3 of the Rise Up Lilacs, and they are gorgeous, and they're just been in the ground for 1 year now. So these are going to be a semi-climber. They only get to be like 5 or 6 feet tall, so they're not going to be super aggressive, but gorgeous flowers on them. Okay. If you want a fun small tree shrub in your garden, I'm gonna put this down because it's soaking wet. Stellar Ruby Magnolia from Southern Living. This is also called a banana shrub. And the reason I want to show it to you now, we've showed it to you before. One, beautiful new foliage on it, but it is blooming. So it's got buds on it all over. Now y'all, when you put your nose in this, it smells like ripe bananas. It is the craziest thing that a flower can smell like a ripe banana, but they really do. These are gonna be great. They're deer resistant, an evergreen, full sun, part shade. And when I say a small tree, 10 to 15 feet tall, but only like 6 wide. So depending, like if you want to put this on the corner of your house, you totally could, right? Because you kind of want to put it somewhere where you can smell the fragrance of it. So you can let it grow as a shrub, or you can kind of train it up as a tree. So we have the Stellar Rubies. They are here. They are blooming. So much fun. And then oak leaf hydrangeas, Gatsby Gal. Gatsby Gal is one of the few oak leaf hydrangeas that can take full sun. I have a Gatsby Gal in our flower bed on the walkway to the patio. She is in full sun and doing fantastic. Now it is on irrigation, but already we have got buds on these things because we're coming in to hydrangea season. Loads of beautiful, these are panicles because they're out here on the sun, right? So we have a lot of panicles down here, smooth hydrangeas that can take the full sun. And look at this. So we've got Incrediballs, which is one of my favorite. This is like an Annabelle type hydrangea, a smooth hydrangea. Can take the sun, blooms on new growth. So beautiful plants. And then we have Incrediball Blush. And I want to show you the Incrediball Blush because some of these, well, they all, but this one in particular, massive buds on it already. So the Incrediballs, whether it's the Incrediball or the Incrediball Blush, which has a nice soft little pink to it. Jerry, can you show those buds? Like look, just covered in buds. But these are going to be hardy in zones 3 to 8 and basically 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, right? Sun to part shade and gorgeous. So if you're looking for hydrangeas, we're going into that season where they're going to start blooming here. The sooner you can get your hydrangeas in the ground, the best it's going to be because they need time to get their roots established. They get all this beautiful rain that we're getting right now. So get them in the ground as soon as you can before the heat hits. You will be grateful and thankful that you're not having to go out and water as much later on in the season. All right, let's go up to the greenhouse because yesterday we got another shipment of Caladiums and I haven't even seen them yet, so I am very excited. I need to hurry up and shop because we're getting ready to open and for the day, and they might the best ones might get gone, so I need to go shopping. All right, so we still have loads and loads of beautiful chick charms available. When people come to the nursery, they ask about the chick charms. So if it has the tag of the chick charms on it, then that means they are going to be winter hardy, right? So they can stay outside all winter. They're hardy in zones 3 to 8. We have them in these great bowls and the ovals. These are the bowls, like you could totally just leave them out in this container throughout the season. Maybe probably like a year from now, you're going to want to divide them, right? Take them out, spread them out. But these can stay out year round. Now, if it does not have a chick charm tag on it, and I tell people, if it looks more tropical, like if it looks like, to me, this looks like something you would see in the Little Mermaid movie, right? Like seaweed, beautiful coral type things. These are not going to be winter hardy. So you can keep them outside all season long. Then before your first frost, heavy freeze, just bring them inside, put them in the sunniest part of your house, like in a nice sunny window, enjoy them in the wintertime. Next spring, out they go again. So these are really fun, and I like to mix them. So in my strawberry planter last year, I used these along with my chick charms just to bring in some different textures and colors, and it was beautiful and loved it. Now, all right, here we go, my friends. Ta-da! Gorgeous new caladiums. Now, these caladiums are going to be in the 6-inch pot. Before, they were in a quart pot. I'm just going to show you the difference of the two. Right now, obviously, these are two different caladiums, but so this is Chinook, had a little bit more of a pink color. This is a quart, and then this is Clowning Around, which I love this plant. We did the trough a couple of years ago, Clowning Around, a beautiful, nice, rich red that has ruffles on it in a 6-inch pot. So you're already going to get a bigger plant when you go with that 6-inch pot. So, and because there's more corms in there, so it's just a bigger plant, right? More bang for your buck. But when you come to the nursery, what you want to do is look at your tag. So these are all the Proven Winners Heart to Heart collection of caladiums. And on your tag, it is going to tell you if it is going to be shade, or it'll say sun to shade. So Clowning Around, that means it says it's shade. So that means it can take up to probably like maybe 4 hours of, say, morning sun. Be totally fine. Give it a break from that hot and intense afternoon sun. It will do great. Now, if it says, let me find one that is more of a sun lover. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out, here we go. Get it out of the pot here. Okay, so this is Raspberry Moon. And so Raspberry Moon on the tag says sun to shade. That literally means you can basically put it anywhere, in any sun condition. And I have grown these caladiums both in nice, really deep shade, and I have grown them in the full blazing all day sun. They can handle it. You're gonna get a little color variation if you have like Raspberry Moon in the shade versus the sun, very much like a coleus. They can do it, I promise. They like to have consistent moisture, but not soaking wet. If it's soaking wet, then your corms could rot, so you just need consistent water, but they come in all sorts of gorgeous colors. Like, look at Burning Heart. Burning Heart is a really rich, deep, almost like a brown chocolatey color with some little bits of red in there. So it truly is, what is your color palette? What are you going for? And then your sun conditions, and then go from there. Caladiums love the heat and humidity. Where some plants struggle with our heat and humidity, not caladiums. They need those kinds of conditions to do and grow really, really well. So the easiest plant probably ever to grow, no flowers, you don't need flowers, you just love this beautiful color on them, and they do just really, really well here in the South, and anywhere that's the heat and humidity, they love it. All right, let's see, where do we want to go? Where do we want to go? Anything you want to talk about specifically? Let's go to the shade. Okay. While we're going by the shade, we have got gorgeous, this is the graceful grasses. This is Vertigo, and Vertigo is going to be an annual grass, massive, deep purple color once it gets out in the full UV light. I mean, they can get like 5 feet tall. So the more water you give them, these are great for like around pools. If you need to have some privacy, maybe just say like during one season, right? Odds are, unless you're in Florida, you're not swimming in your pool, you know, in January. And maybe you don't need as much privacy then as you do in the summertime. So Vertigo is great for that. We've got Echinaceas. People are asking about that. So we have, so the new ones that we're growing. So here is like one in a melon. These are from Proven Winners. This year, Proven Winners is introducing 4 new Echinacea. We grew them all last year. Love them. One in a melon, the biggest flowers you have ever seen in your life. A beautiful like cantaloupe color to them. Huge flowers. They overwintered so incredibly well for me. My plants in the garden are massive. So we have one in a melon. We have the Fuchsia is Bright. So Fuchsia is Bright obviously is a nice, hot, rich fuchsia color. The Echinaceas love the full sun, and they are very adaptable for all different growing zones. Let's see if I can pull my tag. I want to say like 4 to 8. Yeah, I was right, 4 to 8. And you'll get some different sizes in that. Raspberry Beret. This is another one that people are really excited about because Raspberry Beret is a double bloom. So nice, big, huge bloom on it. Still that very raspberry fuchsia color. And then we also have Butter Pecan. Butter Pecan is going to be a double as well, but obviously a nice, rich yellow on that. So everything is doing great in here. We got tons of Baptisia. So if you're looking for Baptisia, a little bit of an update on the wheelbarrow. We were here again, lots of rain last night. So the petunias are kind of, they're a little smush right now, but look how beautiful the Sweet Alyssum. They're like, give me all the rain you got. Love, love, love the water. Turning a nice soft purple to it and will spill over. So those are all doing really well. If you're looking for shade perennials, we have got them. And I really encourage people because sometimes shade areas can be really hard to plant because obviously you're under trees, right? That's how you have shade most likely. Put your perennials in a container. This container I have had in this spot for 5 years. I mean, time gets away from me, but it's been a long time. I have a Hosta and I have a beautiful Japanese painted fern in here. I still have my tags. So this is Paul's Glory. It doesn't matter which Hosta it is, just pick one that you like. So Paul's Glory, and then this is Pictum. It's a Japanese painted fern. That is what is in here, and everybody has spread. It's not on irrigation. We come through and we hit it with some water. When you first plant them, maybe you have more plants in there, right? Maybe you have some annuals in there too. But when you're looking to put a container together, have fun. Find something tall, find something different colors, and put them all together. Again, another example. Look, we got a beautiful Hosta with the Ascot Rainbow Euphorbia. You can do lots of plants in a container. Eucharis, this is like citronelle. Beautiful, nice, beautiful color to it. So many colors and textures are available for your shade garden, whether you want to have that Euchera. This is the Georgia Peach. Really nice, kind of that peachy color to it. Pair it with a bleeding heart would be stunning, right? You've got the gorgeous Solomon Seal. Lots of different textures, heights, colors, make beautiful arrangements. And we have got, oh my gosh, we have got hostas coming out of our ears. We have got plenty of shade options for you. In fact, we've got some, look, I think we only have one. Y'all, look at all this water. Like, this is insane. This is what happens at 6 inches of rain at Creekside. Just massive amounts. We have one left. Lemony Lace Elderberry. I don't know who's gonna get this thing first, but if you don't hurry, oh my gosh, this is a gorgeous plant. We were testing it with, Proven Winners sent one to us, a couple in the fall, and they are doing great. So here where we are, we're marginal, where we could get too hot. If you give it just a little bit of dappled sun, they will do great. We have got ferns, the Boston ferns. We have Boston ferns and the Kimberly Queen ferns. These are wonderful. Boston ferns are going to be more shade, right? And they are in a hanging basket, but you could easily take this out, put it in a container or put it in a bigger basket to make more of an impact. So, and then the Kimberly Queens can do more sun, and they are nice and big. They're on the other side, but they can do more sun and are huge. Just if you're looking for perennial ferns, we've got that. I just a little bit overwhelming right now because there's so many different plants that we can talk about. So just know that whatever your gardening needs are, whether it's sun, whether it's shade, where you need deer resistant, where you need annual pops of color, you want to put a container together, whatever it may be, here at Creekside, we are ready. We are ready to help you. It is definitely go time. You can put anything in the ground right now. You can make any kind of container. We are definitely in the growing season for sure. And if you're not local here to go at Creekside, go visit your local garden center, wherever you may be. I know that some of you are still in winter and still trying to get to spring. I promise it is coming. It comes every year, but just go visit your local garden center. Make relationships with those folks, because when you make relationships with your folks at the garden center, then when they get special things in, sometimes they'll send you a message and go, hey, I know you were looking for this. It just came in. You want me to save one for you? So you need to make really good friends with your local garden center because they can help you, and they are your best resource for your local area. I have folks that contact me all the time and they're like, hey, I'm in Southern California. What would be a great plant for, like, fill in the blank? And I'm like, I have no idea. I'm in North Carolina. North Carolina, Southern California, extremely different. Go visit your local garden center because they are going to be the best resource for you. As always, I hope you have found this fun, informational, and inspiring. We so appreciate you. Thank you so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.